Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today is the day we finally get to set up this QuickJack. This is the 7000 TL. I picked this up in the summer and we are finally going to take it out of the box, set it up and hopefully get this Mustang up in the air. Stay tuned. So I've just did a quick video on how I'm no longer using the GoPro 10. That has now failed, so we're on this GoPro 11. I've not actually used this camera before, so I've set the settings up to how I think they should be. So let's see how we get on. But yeah, that GoPro is no longer used. So this is the QuickJack 7000 TL, picked up in the summer 4-5 months ago. Got a good deal. It was from Costco, and stuff's happened in my life, so things got put on hold. But we're back. We're gonna finally try and get this set up and get the Mustang for the first time off the ground. When I first got this, I did open the box and I took the instruction manual out and I briefly read it and thought, right, I'll read this again before I set it up, and I can no longer find it. So I've looked everywhere it could possibly be, and to my knowledge it is not in this garage. I've looked in the home and I can't find it. So I've managed to get it on my phone, so I will just have to keep stopping and looking on my phone at the instruction manual and taking it step by step. But obviously the first thing we need to do is get all of this out of the boxes. This one actually broke on delivery. The guy almost dropped it. The straps, I think one or two broke on this one, but this whole box, the whole front, just gave way. So yeah, let's get all this out, get rid of the cardboard and see what we have. Firstly, we have some contents. Don't think that should be in there. So we'll get some blocks. I think we get 4 of them. I think there's 4 large and 4 medium. Got some hoses. You get 2 long ones and 2 short ones. So the hoses are there. This is a power plug. I only have 2 more blocks, so I'm not sure. Maybe I don't get the smaller ones to this kit. Let's try and get this out. Right then. Right. Something in there. Either. So that's over 2 large ones and 4 medium ones. So let's try and get this out without damaging it. That is heavy. Wow. Surprisingly heavy. Alright, let's get this out of the way. This is the handle that you use to pull the QuickJack from under the car. The other one is in the other box. So this is the instructions. So maybe I didn't have them. Must have just imagined that I actually got them out of the box and read them. Clearly I didn't. So it would seem I do have the instructions, so I thought that I took them out and read them. Clearly have not. I wonder if I looked and couldn't find them and just gave up. Maybe I read online the instruction manual from the website maybe, but I don't know. I have them now, just been going through them. Unpacked the pump, bit concerning. I've looked inside and there's some fluid in the bottom, a trace amount, and also it's quite wet at the bottom, and in the packaging there is some ATF and grease by the looks of it. So I don't know if that's normal. Do they test them before they ship them out? Would make sense, I guess. But yeah, I guess hopefully that's just a bit of spillage and nothing to be concerned about. This is the controller, hoses, blocks. This is the power lead that plugs into the pump, and then we have all the attachments. So there should be probably 4 of the bigger ones, which I think will probably go onto the long hoses. We have, yes, we have some sealant, so some thread sealant. I thought these were all okay, so some don't need sealant because you've got the O-ring. I'll have to obviously check this. I thought it was all just plug and play, but it's nice that they give you the thread sealant, medium strength. Suppose if you don't have to disconnect it, I would have probably wanted the high one, but I guess that'll work. If they're giving it, that'll work. So yeah, the next step is to just go through the manual. I believe it's this bit here, so these 2 fittings need to go onto this guy here. Next step, guys, is to remove these plugs, thread these in, angle them up slightly, and then get back to the manual and see what to do next. So I just want to point out, well, 2 things, 3 things. The thread sealant that comes with the kit. You can use tape, you know, TPFE tape, which I was going to use, but if you use the sealant that they supply, which I've not heard of before, but if you use it, you have to leave it 24 hours. So I do have the fluid up there. Before I can actually basically pressurize the system with that fluid, I have to leave it 24 hours. So I can't get this finished tonight, unfortunately, but I can get as far as I can get. So that is something to be mindful of. Also, these are left and right, so as you sit in the vehicle, left, right, you put the stickers at the front, which are the yellow stickers. So this is left and that is right. You need to make sure that this locking mechanism on the side, this should be on the outside on both sides, and I've not seen it yet in the instructions, but I'm sure I've seen somewhere the sticker side should go towards the front of the car. If you have a front engine car, I don't know if the frame is stronger at the front or if it's got possibly something to do with the motion where it lifts up, because this doesn't lift up straight, it kind of pivots. So I think that's got something to do with that. So I think the stickers need to go towards the front, but if I come across that in the instructions, I will point that out. So it does give you some warning here about using tape, and apparently bits of tape have been sucked into the power unit, so they don't advise using tape. So yeah, probably if they've had issues, probably not best. I'll go with the sealant. So next step is the shorter hoses. So we need these 2 guys here. The females will thread onto here. So we'll apply some thread sealant to these threads, miss the first 1 or 2 threads, and I'm just go for the middle, put a big blob. You want to cover, I usually go for half the threads, and that'll run round, and by the time you threaded it on, that should be fully coated. Right, so we've got 7/8 and 11/16. So let's get the first one on. Should be pretty straightforward. So that's all I put on, as it's more than enough. Get your connection end. And just give that a nip up. You don't want it too tight really, you just want to give you a good full 1 or 2 turns. You guys even see. Trying to do this in front of the camera, and that's 1 turn. That's pretty tight, to be fair. Yeah, that's plenty tight. So So 11/16 does work, but it's a bit loose. Oddly, 17mm is perfect. So 17mm, nice and snug. So the next step is to connect the long hose to the connections. So you have 2 hoses, so 2 connections per hose. Quite simply, you need to remove the protective cap, put some sealant, this stuff again, back on the threads, screw this on using your 2, once again 17mm, seems to fit perfect, and 7/8 on the larger one. Turn it down and you're good to go. Right, let's do this again. So it didn't record the first time I did it, but essentially you have 2 fittings and 2 ends. They're the same fitting. For some reason, once again, 17 is a perfect fit. So we'll use a 17 and a 7/8. Get yourself a couple of good dollops on these threads. Come on. Quite a bit, because these are quite large fittings, and that'll run down. There you go. Thread them on. Pretty straightforward, this, guys. And at least 1 or 2 turns should be enough. And you can kind of feel when they bottom out. It's metal on metal, so it's a pretty easy thing to detect. That's it. And do the same. And number 4, there's a little plastic tab there which is a bit awkward. You've got to just work around that. That's it. And that is the 2 long ones done. We are now going to pressurize the air cylinders. Quite simply, you need to put 40 to 50 psi. So I'm going to put 45 psi roughly. So the cap actually has the tool you need, so you just put that in backwards and then turn. That's the hiss. And you close it, I guess. So quite a bit of oil comes out of that. Get your air compressor or whatever you're going to use. We're already at 18. .45. Call that good. So the next step is to remove these. This is for the pump, and it says in the instructions to fit the bottom one first. It says you do not need any sealant or tape on these, which is right because you have an O-ring. I'm guessing you do the bottom one first so you get better access. So obviously with the top one on, you probably can't get your spanner in there. Just give that a little snug. Get your next one. Saying that, you actually still can get your tool in. Anyway, that's done. I think this is different because this looks huge. On the diagram, it is not as big. And I don't think other ones I've seen come with a removable power plug. So, I don't know if this is because this is the UK, but in the picture, that's half the size. In the picture you can grab hold of the handle, and this one is pretty, you kind of can at the front, but it's pretty tight. So I have attached these male fittings to the pump, so the pump is pretty much done apart from filling it full of fluid. So I have the controller up here hanging up, and the power plug is in but it's not turned on. It's connected. I wish this was on the back side. I don't know why they put it on the front, but never mind. We have the fluid. I'm using Dextron free. We'll put this into the tank. Now this tank takes about 3 litres apparently. You need to have it about ½ inch from the top, and then we'll put the cap back on, use the system. Once it is operational, we will need to check this again because this will lose fluid. Obviously the fluid will go from this tank and into this system and through the lines and into the actual jacks themselves. So first, let's get this filled up. This comes with a breather, a valve at the top. Apparently if you don't have the self-venting cap, you have the solid one, you have to loosen it every time before you use it. Otherwise you could damage the pump, which just seems a bit silly, but never mind. This is the newest model I think that they have, so it makes sense that that is on there. So as I mentioned before, there's actually some, you can't really see, no, can't really see, but there's a tiny bit of fluid in the bottom, so someone has either tested this or it's been returned. But yeah, let's get this fluid into the tank. So it does recommend that hydraulic fluid or automatic transmission fluid should be used. So I don't think it really matters what brand or anything. So I've just went for the cheapest. I bought these when I got the unit. I'm not too sure how much I paid, but it wasn't much. I think they were only a few pound each. Oh, it's a bit big, isn't it? Let's try this. Yeah, it's fine. Blop, blop, blop. Maybe if I angle it. Oh, no, it didn't work. So what happened there basically was it was too large for the hole, so there was nowhere for the air to go. So it just bubbled up. So let's use a correct size. Try again. So I'm just going to put this full container in. This is a litre, and then I'll put the next one in, which is also a litre, and then that should put us close to where we need to be. Just realised I don't know why I'm feeding into this one. Let's take this one out. I think I thought it was going to be too difficult to get this in there, but there's plenty of room. So let's put 2 litres in and see where that gets us. I reckon 2 litres, just shy of 2 litres. So that is about ½ inch from the top. So I don't know why they say you need 3 litres, unless I've read that wrong somewhere. Just a bit of a clean up. So as you can see, or maybe you can't see, yeah, that's pretty close. I would say that's about ½ inch. So we'll put the cap back on, and for now we can call that done. Once the system is bled and ready to go, we'll have to come back to this and top it back up. I'll have to check, because I'm pretty sure one of these is left and one of these is right. But for the time being, we can just put this on, and you should just push on, like so. Obviously, just make sure these don't come off. Just turn it around. So basically, to remove them, you line up that ball bearing, and then it pulls off. So you want to make sure you don't leave it like that. So put it back on, then just turn that around. There's no chance of that coming off. So the instructions state to use 2 large blocks and a medium block, and put them under the frame, as you can see there and there. This elevates the lifting equipment, because the next step is to bleed from this screw here. So elevating up, make sure all the air comes to the top. A is connected to the left one, and B goes down and connects to the right one. I don't see anything stating you need to do that, but at some point in the instructions it did show you a diagram. There. So the top one goes to the left and the bottom one goes to the right. I don't know if it makes a difference. It shouldn't, because these should be even. The fluid should be even. They should both rise together. It's not like the left has to work harder than the right, so it shouldn't matter. I think in the future I might just put on the cap down here, I might just put A and A on the cap, and then B and B on these 2 caps. But that is all I can do for the night. So I need to leave that sealant to cure, apparently, for 24 hours. I've never had to do that before, but this is high pressure. The last thing I want is for hydraulic fluid to be flying out all over the garage. So we'll leave this overnight. Oh, also one thing it did mention, now I've seen people use this on the ground, but it does mention that the unit, for some reason, the power unit should be located 18 inches above the floor. I don't know if that's just a bleeding thing or if that's permanently, but I won't be permanently doing that because I'll be a little bit on the floor. But for bleeding purposes, which makes sense, you know, the tank's the highest part. So tomorrow we'll come back in, we'll turn it on, and hopefully have no leaks. Bleed the cylinders, put it under the car, and let's see if we can get this car up off the ground. So it is the next day. We are now at the point where we need to bleed the system. I did put some of this sealant just in this bottle because I was curious, will it be dry? And as you guys can probably see, that is still very much wet. So I don't know why you need to leave it 24 hours. Not too sure about that. But yeah, that is still wet. So I read the instructions, and basically it states to raise the lifts 3 times, no more than 8 inches. So basically you want to lift them, so the first locking point, which is this bar here, you want to make sure that does not lock in. So we'll go about 8 inches, drop it down, do that 3 times. You will then bleed the system, so you will use a hex Allen key in this nut here, remove that, and air and fluid will come out. Once air stops, tighten that back up. The next phase will be to just pump the button for a few seconds. So just, I guess, 1, 2, 3, release, then bleed, then do it again, then release. Then you drop it back down to flat, and you repeat the up, bleed, down. And I guess you just keep doing that till no more air comes out of the system, and then you are done. So let's, oh, I'm not actually Team Xbox, I'm PlayStation. That was actually a joke, ignore that. Yeah, so I guess we'll turn this on. So I guess we just push the button, and hopefully, I think I'll stand back, nothing will go wrong. Okay, how long does it normally take? So far, nothing. Oh, whoa, there we go. Right, so up, guess about there, and down. Come on, you can do it. And there we go. And down. So this is the second go. Just holding the button. I probably could stand on them. Well, not stand on them because I'll end up tipping over the blocks. No, I probably could put my foot on, but it doesn't say to do that. It just says to push the button, and they should go down by themselves. When you're ready, and down. Right, last time. This one seems to go down slower. I seem to have a bit of vacuum. It looks like the unit is actually sucking inwards. Is that normal? This one takes a while to go down, so this one's probably got more air in, I would imagine. Obviously the weight of the car, these things will go straight down. And you're never supposed to jack these without a car on. This is only during the bleeding process that you actually do this. So once that's down, when it's ready, we'll get to bleeding. Down. This is actually a, what is it, 3/16 Allen key hex head. For some reason the other Allen key we used was metric. This one's imperial, but then we have metric and imperial nuts. It does fit, so I guess we just rotate this till we hit it. And now I've got nothing. So that's surprising. I would have expected something out of that. A bit awkward trying to get in there with the camera, but there we go. So that one did actually make a noise. We'll tighten that back up, and then we'll do what they say. I'm going to bump this a couple of times. Bleed, bump, bleed. Well, that seems better already. So I think I got the instructions wrong. I thought after the 3 ups and downs you then bleed the system, which I think you might need to do, but I think you're supposed to put these back up and then bleed them while they're up. So the instructions, I think, I don't know, maybe I'm just being dumb today, but the instructions I think are saying once these are 8 inches up, release the valve and bleed them, and then pump it a bit more, then bleed them and repeat. I think, I don't know, we'll give this a go. But I have done this side, and this side a lot of more air came out, so let's try this again and see what's going on. I don't know, maybe these instructions are just badly worded, or I'm just being silly today, but I don't know. Right, let's see. So try again, and typically that one, nothing is coming out. So in the instructions it says to loosen the cap, and then 2 seconds, nothing comes out. So maybe this one is actually okay. There's fluid coming out but no air, so let's close that one back up. So the bled, that was a bit fiddly, so I think, yeah, you're supposed to crank them up and down 3 times, and then while they're still up, bleed them, and then when the bleeder valve open, push the button a few seconds, let them raise a bit higher, bleed again, a bit higher, bleed again, tighten it down, drop it to the bottom, and I essentially repeated the process about 3 times. Every time I did it, a tiny bit of air came out, but the fluid was like a milkshake. It was all bubbly and like a pink colour, so it was obviously mixed with the air. So I let that run out quite, I wouldn't say quite a bit, but it would definitely be enough to pool in the bottom of that little hole there. So quite a bit of fluid came out, but they seem okay now. I have topped this back up. I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me, but it tells me here to loosen the breather. Now I did think this was a breathing cap because it's got the hole in the top. Maybe it isn't, or maybe that's just a generic sticker, but I think going forward I'll keep it tight, and then when I put it in place I think I'll just loosen it slightly just to be on the safe side. I did open the 3rd bottle and I used a tiny amount, maybe quarter, so it took 2 litres and a quarter. So the machine is done. The next step is to get these under the car. I've got what, 2? Yeah, they're the large ones. So I must have a large block somewhere. So large or small, or this. A large or small. Let me put a medium, I should say. And then in this can just be pushed over there. Moves quite easy on this floor. So this needs to be like that. Actually, you know, I think, yeah, I suppose that'll be okay for now. I probably would like these on the inside, but we'll leave that like that for now. So that'll roughly go there. I'll do the same on the other side and get the pump at the back and bring you guys back. Right, so I've had to push the car right back because, well, the way these work is that when the car comes up, it's going to go forward. So if you want to put the stickers at the front, it's going to pivot towards the front. So I've had to leave a gap, and I'm hoping that'll be enough. Now, it's not the end of the world. If this doesn't work, I can turn the jacks around so the stickers at the rear. I know, well, I'm assuming that's not how it's supposed to be, but that would mean I could put the car out on the drive a foot, put the stand underneath and bring the car up. It'll come backwards, and it'll probably take a few attempts to get the exact position, but eventually I'll be able to get it so that when the car is fully off the ground, the bumper will be right up against the garage. But that's for a different video if we need to. So they're in place. So now I just need to get the button and push it and see where they line up. You guys can even see. Right, so we're making contact. So on the Mustang, it's a bit different. You have these rails at the front and the back. I'm assuming that's probably the best place to put this QuickJack, hopefully. So, I mean, these are pretty rusty. I just hope they don't give way and the whole floor pushes through. It's not in the best condition. So, that's made contact. The front looks pretty even, and the back hasn't yet, but it will. Looks like it's in the line, so I'll check the other side. If the other side's okay, we'll go a bit higher. Big concern the rear hasn't made contact. I'm not too sure why. I'm guessing them frame rails are a lot higher, but when the weight of the car is off the ground, it should pivot back, hopefully. That is the front wheels moving up. Right, so I'm going to recheck the back because they've made contact now and make sure they're still in the right place, and then we'll crank it up. So this is the view from the UK driver side, American passenger side. We have full contact, so I guess we just lift it up and see what happens. Okay, so sorry it wasn't recording. Yeah, this, oh my god, this is the first level. That is high. So, I mean, god, this goes, is it one more or two? One more. It can get to here. I mean, that is plenty high enough for what I would need. Seems to be holding up okay. I was concerned these frame rails are, well, look at them. Wasn't too sure if they're gonna hold, but seem to be okay. So I'm just gonna inspect everything, check for leaks, and then if everything's okay, come back and see if I can get to the top without hitting the garage door. So everything seems to be okay. So I'm gonna try and go a bit higher and see what we are for clearances. As you can see, it's moving away from the wall, which is expected. I'm just going to check I don't want to hit the garage door. Oh my god. Alright. It's almost at the stop. This actually might be perfect. It's going to be tight. So I think when it goes click click on both sides, you can yeah, there you go. That was a bit worrying. So that is now locked in. That is tight. That is really tight. Don't think I'll be able to get access to the engine, but this isn't for access to the engine. This is access to the underside, and I can still get around the back. It's a little bit tight, but oh my god, look at the height of that. See, that one there isn't straight. I had some issues trying to line up at the front and back. I actually didn't know if the frame rails were in line, and they're not. So the frame rails are off slightly, but I know from this side I can put the blocks to the right and at the front to the left, and then I'll be able to scoot this frame further over. I've got almost full reach. I mean, that is me stretching. I can just reach that exhaust with the tips of my fingers. Wow, this is a game changer. This is unbelievable. So the plan will be is I need to check this first, but I think once these are locked in place, I can release pressure on the pump, and I can actually remove these lines, and I'll tuck them under that, and then these will just be here permanently, because I've got a lot of work that I need to do under here. I need to inspect all the brakes for a start. The handbrake cable is just hanging down over there, semi-attached, so there's plenty of stuff to do under here. The exhaust actually looks pretty decent. I've never looked into the car. This is my first time and your first time technically, but wow, this is a game changer. This is more than I expected. See how I've not put that block in the middle, so that's obviously dangerous. So this needs fine tuning 100%, but wow, absolutely wow, unbelievable, unbelievable. So I'm going to give this some fine tuning. I'm going to bring the car back down, realign all the jacks. I've got a bit of room up in the front. I've got about 2 inches, so now I know if I place this car about 2 inches from this trunking and then do this again, this should be right up against the garage door, which will give me more room at the rear. And yeah, just need to have a play about. What I'll do is I'll probably bleed the jacks again just one last time, won't hurt, just to make sure there's no air left in them, because it's at a full extent now. I did recheck these and they were at, I think that was 46, that was 44, so they were okay. And I did check for leaks, and I mean, yeah, unbelievable, well worth the money. This, I could probably go into why I bought these in a future video possibly. There was a few years back I had a pickup truck basically, and the truck almost fell on me. One of the axle stands gave way, and I've had a few near misses. I've had a few times where I've dragged a car and it slipped slightly and it's almost fell. But then that time that truck fell, I could have took my legs out. My legs were under the car. So yeah, this is a great investment. So I'm going to end this one here, guys. The family's just got back. We're going to do some Christmas shopping. When I get back tonight, I'll have a play about with this. But for the time being, guys, like always, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.